their presentation. Dr. Anjum Qureshi, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. So, I'm Dr. Anjum from India, working as Assistant Professor at the Department of Electronics and Communication at Rajiv Gandhi College of Engineering, Research and Technology, Chandrapur. And I would like to speak on ethical considerations of research. So, research ethics, if we talk about it, it refers to the moral principles that guide the conduct of research, ensuring that the research is conducted responsibly, fairly, and with respect for participants and their rights. It includes a range of considerations, including obtaining the informed consent, then protecting the confidentiality or the privacy of the participants, and ensuring the integrity of the research findings. If we talk about the key aspects of the resource ethics, yes, first is the informed consent, that the participants who are involved in the research should be fully informed about the purpose, procedures, potential risks, and the benefits of the research before agreeing to participate. Second is confidentiality, that is protecting the privacy of the participants by keeping their information confidential and ensuring anonymity wherever it is appropriate. The third is integrity. That is, you have to maintain honesty and accuracy in the data collection, in analysis, and the reporting of the research findings. You cannot just report any kind of data. Like if you get if you come to some conclusion, whether your results are good or bad, but still you should be able to convey that. Then objectivity. That is, you should carry your research, or you should have your research design, the interpretation of the data, and the reporting without any kind of bias. Then the next is respecting the participants, that the participants that are involved in your survey or in your research, treat them with dignity, ensure their well-being and safety throughout the research process. Then fair subject selection. Ensure that the research participants are selected fairly and equitably and avoiding any form of discrimination or exploitation. Then favorable risk benefit ratio, that is minimizing the potential risk to participants and maximizing the potential benefits of the research. That should be your objective. And then independent review, that is having the research proposals that are reviewed by an independent ethics committee to ensure they meet the ethical standards. Now, if we talk about the research conducts, the three main kind of research conducts is the fabrication of data, where the results and the recording means we just take someone else's results, someone else's data we are using, and we are presenting as if it is our own data. Then the falsification of data, that is manipulating the research materials. That is, you must have got some kind of data, but for your benefit, to show that your results are very good or your output are up to the mark, or it is better than what work it has been done till now. So you manipulate the research materials, you manipulate some kind of processes, and still you show that you have actually attained the objectives that you wanted to achieve, and your work is better than the previous one that you have been doing. For example, if I am taking a parameter like end-to-end delay, so I have to show that the end-to-end delay should be low. So though I wouldn't have got a good result, but still I show that compared to the previous algorithms I have used, my end-to-end delay is lower, and so my procedure is better. So that is falsification of data, where you are manipulating the materials, or you're omitting or suppressing the data of the results without any kind of justification. Then plagiarism is you're using another works or ideas which have been actually given by others. So whenever you are representing, or you are using, because sometimes, because whenever we are forming a new work, we have to actually use the reference of the works that have been done till now. So in that case, you should be always writing those work as citations or references. You should be always mentioning it when you write your research paper, or you write a book chapter, or you write a proposal. Everywhere you have to mention from where you are taking this part. Otherwise, it will be under plagiarism. So even if you're referencing your own paper, Because this even I did it when I was into earlier research, that I used a paragraph, I used few lines from my own research papers, and I thought that I shouldn't be using it as a reference because it is my paper. But actually, when you put in software, the software doesn't know that it is your paper or someone else's paper, but it just reads like you have copied. So even if it is your paper, you have to mention that you have taken it from so and so a book or chapter or research paper, whatever you do is. But if you just copy someone else's work, so this is called as plagiarism. And well, nowadays, due to the software that we are having, they actually have a range of plagiarism, and some research forums they allow 10% of plagiarism, and then some they allow some 12 to 15, but not more than that is never acceptable. And moreover, nowadays, when the AI platforms are used, there are some of the research organizations who will clearly say that 0% AI content is allowed, because people think that just by using ChatGPT or Gemini, you can be using it. Now here, like if you can see, though I have used the images from some other sources, but here I have mentioned the source that is called as indexing or citing it. So like if now research misconduct means if someone has done a research misconduct, then what will happen? That is research integrity office. It reviews the concern to see if it meets the application. Suppose like if you complain that this was my work and this person has completely copied without indexing me or without citing my work. So in that case, a person can send an email or he can complain that it is a resource misconduct. So in that, the RIO will review the concern to see if it meets application or falsification or plagiarism, and it will gather additional information to see if a scientific review or inquiry is needed. Then it works with the IT and the college leadership to secure all available data associated with the concern, both remotely, for example, the backers, the SharePoint, and also it will make a copy of the hard drive before or at the time of the respondent is notified, to preserve the data and protect the respondent from the concern that they had the opportunity to tamper the evidence. Then, after once this is confirmed, then there is an inquiry. In this, the subject matter expert performs a scientific review of the concern to identify if there are some errors or issues and recommend whether there is a need for more investigation to it. And then the report of the review is submitted for their determination. Then the fourth reason is the investigation, and with the subject matters expert at least three will perform final scientific review to identify how the issues have arisen and who was responsible and the extent of the issues, whether the identified concern were a result of research misconduct, and the report of the review is submitted. And based on that, the DO's determination, corrective actions are recommended. Now, as we talk about research misconduct, yes, what are some of the reasons why the research scholars, especially, they sometimes do it? The first is poor supervision, because they are very afraid of their guides or their supervisors when they are doing their research, because they some of them treat very badly if you do not complete the work on time. So this is the first reason that the research scholars might try to copy some work. Then there is inadequate training, because there are people who must have reached a PhD level, but they still don't know how to publish a research paper because they have not got adequate training to how to write an research article and how to publish it and what are the guidelines for it. Then competitor pressure is there, because nowadays the people who are into educational background, we have a continuous pressure of at least one or two publications in a year. So it is very, very difficult, and that too when you are being demanded that you have to post it, you have to publish in Scopus, Springer, the Web of Science. When you have such high standards, it becomes again very difficult, especially for the people those who are into the education field. Then personal circumstances that I have been applying, and you have your personal obligations sometimes that, but still you're not able to do it. And individual psychology is also there. That is I want that I should be meeting a good paper, but still there are some of the fields that I have inside. I have or a person who is having low self-esteem, low self-confidence. So due to that, they don't try to go to with their work and they try to shift it. Now, research trainees. So, what the research trainees or the research scholars should know about that misconduct is not limited to published research. So, research misconduct is actually fabrication, falsification, and plagiarism that may occur in the a publication. Then there is a professional that you can contact because many institutions refer to a person like there are research deans in some of the colleges where you can actually go to them and you can ask them for all the queries that you have. Then there are institutions who have policies for research that when you have to publish a paper, so there you can submit it, what kind of publications are acceptable into the institute, which conference you should submit, what journal you should select. So the institutions have their own policies, so the research trainee should be aware of these policies. And you should remember that when you do a research misconduct, it is actually affecting everyone because with this, the talented research can have negative implications on the individuals. And the larger the research communities, so the larger will be the impact. And you must remember that if a misconduct is found, anyone can report the misconduct, and the scientists are obligated to point out errors regardless of their position in the lab. Now, the five qualities of a good research mentor, because as I said earlier, many research scholars they tend to do research misconduct due to the fears that they are having inside. So here, the supervisors or the guides that you have, or the mentors, the research mentors, they have a very important, very significant responsibility. So the first is be respectful, that is demonstrate and respect for all the laboratory members, which will reduce the fear and unhealthy competitiveness. The second is they should be supportive. They should support the mentees by acknowledging accomplishments and challenging mentees to develop skills that will advance their career. Then the third is establishing open and responsive communication with the mentees, which will promote research integrity and discourage the questionable research practices. The fourth is anticipate the needs of the mentors because some of the times the guides just fail to know what actually your student wants to know from you. So we have to anticipate the need of the mentees and be prepared to provide them the assistance as well as the guidance. And the third is be honest. Set high standards for those for honest reporting of data, regardless of whether the data supports the desired outcome. Yes, this is very important. As I already said, sometimes because we are not able to obtain the objective that we wanted to, we go for the falsification of the data. Then now, sometimes it may happen that you just suspect someone of the research misconduct. So, if you're suspicious, so avoid confrontation. Direct confrontation may lead to retaliation and or tampering with evidence. Keep notes that the document details and safe communication related to the misconduct. Then educate yourself. Read your institution misconduct or contact the office research integrity office with questions, and you can seek support where you may want to get advice from someone you trust to help you to consider all the options. And when you are doing this, you have the things that you have to consider is the reputation and the career of the accused, how others in the lab will be affected, the implications for their own career, possible retention, prevent false and misleading information from entering the research record, correct the scientific literature, ensure that the funding is awarded to responsible research, and protect the public's trust in advance. And when you're reporting, be specific, provide the specific examples of the misconduct, be prepared for silence because institutional policies can limit your access to confidential information about research and misconduct proceedings. And you should be available whenever the research integrity office calls you to identify and examine evidence. And we have to be patient That is, research misconduct proceedings take considerable effort and time to complete. So, the best thing is actually when you are a researcher or when you are a research scholar, you have to write ethically from right from the beginning to the end of that. Avoid selective reporting, avoid biased information. Whatever information that you are presenting, that should be unbiased. Try to use your own words. You can surely read any literature in the world that you can access. It is not, it doesn't come under plagiarism that you are referring to someone else. Study anything. But when you are mentioning it, when you're writing down into paper, don't do that. You just change one or two words and write. Actually, you have to write it down in your own words. And one more thing, don't try to copy a very big paragraph or very big content of any research paper or book that you are referring to. The second is you should cite your resources. Even if you're taking a single line from that research paper, you have to cite it. Sometimes there are copyright images. So in that case, still if you have to use the images, so you can either get consent from that. You have to look at the policies, in fact. You have to get consent from that. Or in case, if you can redraw the tables or the graph, don't just copy and paste it on your paper. Sometimes you may require to use that data. Sometimes you may require to use that table or picture. But in that case, it is better that you redraw it and also you get consent from the person who has actually written it. So you have to get a thorough understanding of your resources, of your resources, and you have to accurately communicate your ideas and your terminology. And yes, of course, your author should be active. Only include those who have made substantial contributions to your project and avoid ghost authorship. That is, try to write about your research yourself. There are many agencies nowadays who just call up here and say that they will be helping you in writing the paper, in writing the resource papers, in writing the synopsis. But if you really want to know what research you have done, it is better to just avoid these people and write it by yourself. Sometimes it may happen that in the initial days, your paper may get rejected due to some reason, but take it as an opportunity and learn from it. So this is what I had to actually say from my side. And thank you very much, and thanks for the opportunity.